'Twas the wicked and wild wind blew down the doors to let me in, shattered windows and the sound of drums. People couldn't believe what I'd become. Revolutionaries wait for my head on a silver plate, just a puppet on a lonely string. Oh, who would ever want to be king? I hear Jerusalem bells are ringing, Roman cavalry choirs are singing. Be my mirror, my sword and shield, my missionaries in a foreign field. For some reason I can't explain, I know Saint Peter won't call my name. Never an honest word, but that was when I ruled the
A long, long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away, someone felt the Force for the first time. My question for you this morning is, do you feel the Force? Between it all, do you feel the Force between the births and the busyness, the successes and the surprises, the disappointments, the decay, and even between the deaths? Do you feel one with it? In the first movie made, Obi-Wan tells Luke Skywalker, the Force is an energy field created by all living things. It surrounds us and penetrates us. It binds the galaxy together. In Star Wars cosmology, both forces, the dark and the light, dwell within each one of us and are inseparable. Since both forces are always at work in the galaxy and in our daily lives, it's crucial, if we want to become Jedi Masters or simply become masterful humans, to recognize these forces at play in the universe and in our lives. It's important to know what thoughts and feelings connect us and draw us to the light, and what thoughts and feelings disconnect us and draw us toward the dark side. To be masters of our own lives, we need to recognize and know both the dark and the light. And we need to pay special attention to the moments when the Force feels balanced within us, so we can return there. The place where Pastor Smith brings us with music time and time again. The teaching may seem intergalactic or interstellar or irrelevant or far out, but we recognize it. We recognize the depth of the teaching in our own lives. So I have a story for you this morning. Rebecca Parker tells a story of a time in her life when she had given up all hope. Sexually abused as a child by her father, despair and darkness had grown so large in her that after a relationship ended, she decided to end it all. At the time, she lived in a city on a lake. She decided to take her own life by weighing down her clothes with rocks and walking into the water to drown. Long after the sun set and night had fallen, she started down the hill towards the shore. In the distance, in the grassy field between her and the lake, she made out shapes and forms ahead of her. Some of the shapes looked like people, but she wasn't sure what she saw. She couldn't help wonder who would be out of doors so late on such a cold, cold winter's night. And as she got closer, she saw that there were some people, but the other shapes were big, standing telescopes. And there were people too. They were all bundled up in warm clothes, and they had come out into that cold winter's night to gaze at the stars and planets in the winter's night sky. And when she came even closer, the people of all ages hardly even noticed her. They were so busy looking at the stars. And when they did see her, the people in the Amateur Astronomers Club assumed that she was one of them, that she was another stargazer or another scientist, another lover of life, another being transfixed by the mysteries of energy and light, distance and time. The people and the telescopes were in between Rebecca and the lake, so Rebecca joined them and started gazing up at the stars herself. And as she peered through the telescope, she couldn't help but wonder at the immensity of all that is, and at her own size and her own place within the mystery of which she was suddenly and clearly a part again. She stayed with the amateur astronomers for quite a while, and when they packed up their telescopes, she went home to her apartment. Saved. Safe. Saved by what, you might ask? The presence of others? A connection to something larger than herself? Saved by God? Saved by the Force? Here's what I read about the Force. The Force is Lucas's distillation of religious thought and feeling throughout human history. James Lawler wrote those words in an essay, "The Force is with us. Hegel's philosophy of spirit strikes back at the empire." Continues, in Lucas's understanding, the divine is no separate deity controlling events from the outside, but is the inner God force that impels the hearts and minds of all of us as we seek to fulfill our inner truth. Whatever words, whatever names we use to describe what happened that night inside Rebecca Parker, what matters is that it happened. Not how we describe it or name it. All religions are really only explanations of our own experiences. We don't need religion to experience transcendence. We're created to experience time and eternity. We're created to experience space and infinity. We're created to experience strength and weakness. We're created to experience independence and utter dependence. We're created to experience light and dark, love and loss, life and death. Religious systems and religious communities, spiritual communities like this one, help us make sense of our own experiences. We have to allow ourselves to pay attention to what's happening below the surface of our lives. It's up to us if we pay attention to what's happening below the surface of our lives or not. We connect with the Force and we disconnect from the Force. We are powerful beyond belief. Rebecca Parker reconnected with the Force that night. And her life was an amazing life. She went on to study theology, to become a Unitarian Universalist minister, to become a renowned author, a theologian, and president of Starr King Theological Seminary in Berkeley, California. The Force is an energy field created by all living things. It surrounds us and penetrates us. It binds the galaxy together. But we have to let ourselves feel it to use it. We can't just think about it. We can't just think about it. In the most recent Star Wars movie, The Last Jedi, the film which inspired me this morning, the question at the heart of the movie, which seems relevant in our lives today, is whether the wisdom and teachings of the Jedi will be able to survive the fear, hatred, violence, and cruelty of the First Order. We know something about the First Order today. So the teaching is relevant. The hero, Rey, feels the Force within her, as we all do, I'll just presume, this morning. She feels the Force within her. She's had experiences of its power, but she wants a teacher. She wants someone who can guide her and direct her as she faces and tries to balance those forces within her so they can be used for good. She knows in her gut, as we do, that she's meant to use her gifts for the good of all, but both the responsibility and the possibility of failing or of doing more harm than good are intimidating and awesome. They're terrifying and tremendous. To succeed, for us to succeed as fighters in the resistance, to succeed, Rey first has to experience the balance of forces, as we saw, not just around her, but within her. She has to know the dark forces within her and the forces of light. With that awareness, only then is she ready to directly confront the supreme leader of the First Order. Only then is she ready to stay focused and fearless, open and loving, even or especially in battle. Aware of the interplay of the light and dark within her, she's also able to see the good in her peer and her opponent, her equal, who in the movie, his name is Kylo Ren. And because she's aware of these forces within her and works with the Force to balance them, she consistently calls on the good within him to emerge, even when he is trying to destroy her. But this is not a spoiler sermon, so I will not tell you all. And you might be wondering at this point anyway if I drank some Star Wars Kool-Aid this week, or if somebody hit me over the head with a lightsaber and I've just lost all sense of reality, because there are some, or even many, who would say that the Force is magic or make-believe and not something to be taken seriously outside the realm of film or fantasy. Except our own experiences mirror and make sense of this modern millennial myth. In a lightsaber training session, Obi-Wan tells Luke, "Let go of your conscious self and act on instinct. Your eyes can deceive you. Don't trust them. Stretch out with your feelings." When have you experienced it? The Force. When have you? When? Anybody want to share? Okay, you sing. Ooh, what was that? Music. Music. So not long ago, I was in the hospital at the bedside of a very scientifically minded woman who was dying. Her daughters had gathered by her side, and we were all completely convinced she was going to die then or very soon. She's very much a skeptic about all things spiritual. But from her hospital bed, Mary spoke about the vastness of the galaxy and about being nothing but a speck in this awesome, mysterious, beautiful universe that she was aware of. She was totally at peace, and I was very much amazed. It seemed like her profound understanding of physics and biology, of astrophysics and physical reality, because she had all that kind of book learning and understanding, allowed her to face death without fear, completely without fear, and to keep her heart wide open and to feel intimately connected with the love around her in the presence of that greatest threat to all our egos, in the presence of death. She seemed to know without hesitation or doubt, as my own mother said a few years ago, as she returned from the feverish fog of a life-threatening flu, that it doesn't need us at all, and we are completely dependent on it. Somehow, with her own faith that religion is a container for, somehow Mary walked through the valley of the shadow of death that time without fear. In fact, she survived. What George Lucas discovered by studying the great myths of the world with the great researcher and writer Joseph Campbell is that good and evil are both contained within the whole galaxy, within each part of creation, within each person, so also within me and within you. What emerges from that knowing is the teaching that we have to practice and learn how to be forces of light. We have to learn how to balance the forces within us, since we contain all the powers of the universe. Our faith, then, has to be based on our own experiences, not on our thoughts or theories or our dogmas or creeds about God or about the force. Our faith has to rise up from within, from our own experiences. We each have, whether we acknowledge it or not, or recognize it or not, or claim it or not, or can deal with it or not, we each have the power to nurture and to annihilate life and love. And we are most in danger of doing evil when we forget how interconnected we are. As Albert Einstein put it, a human being is a part of a whole called by the universe. The delusion of separateness is a kind of prison, or evil, or sin. From this day on, today and tomorrow, you will make a choice, moment to moment, whether to fall into fear and then to withdraw and disconnect and invite in the forces of evil and darkness, or whether to lean into love and to stay connected and to reconnect with the whole and invite in the forces of love and light. When we connect with the force, it saves us time and time and time again. We have the evidence right here in this room, in this sanctuary of light. With these people inside of you, we have the evidence. When we connect with the force, we give the hero inside each one of us the insight and the energy we need to rise to new levels of self-fulfillment and service to the good. Those moments of connection that you are starting to dare to name, those moments of connection are mysterious and momentous. Treasure each and every one of those moments. They're the source of your healing power. They are the source of your healing power in the world. Because I really asked the wrong question at the beginning. The question isn't, are you one with the Force? You can't help but be one with the Force. We are contained by the Force. The question is, how do you increase, augment, develop, nurture, protect your connection with the Force? We spend our lives resisting, playing around, figuring out what to do with the powers that were given at birth. When you allow yourself to be connected, when you work on staying connected, you can save, you can literally save what you value and love. And stop wasting time trying to destroy what you fear or hate. Remember, religion is meant to help us connect with something larger than ourselves and also inside of us. You can find it here, you can find it anywhere. The thing is to look for it, to connect with it, to protect it, to defend it, to nurture it, wherever you go. May the Force be with you.
You're my brother, you're my sister. You're my brother, you're my sister. So take me by the hand. Together we will work until we're done. There's no foe that can defeat us when we're walking side by side. As long as there is love, we will stand. You're my brother, you're my sister. So take me by the hand. Together we will work until we're done. There's no foe that can defeat us. Yes, as long as there is love, we will stand.
Hey, we're so happy you're visiting with us online today. We love connecting with people all across the country and around the world, sharing our powerful message of love beyond belief.
There's something new happening here. You can now join All Souls as a virtual member. Our virtual membership is designed for friends who live outside of Tulsa, Oklahoma, and who want to engage with All Souls in a meaningful way.
You can be part of an expanding family, a global family really, wherever you are. If you live in Oklahoma,
Ohio,
or Orange County, California,
Canada,
or Cameroon. By becoming a virtual member, you'll be able to deepen your connections with members and friends here in Tulsa and with members wherever you are.
Each week, you'll receive special All Souls content tailored for you, our virtual members. Virtual members have access to pastoral care, to personal prayers, and also receive invitations to exclusive web events.
You can learn more, and if you're ready, you can become a virtual member today by visiting allsoulschurch.org/virtual membership.
We're grateful our ministries are having a positive impact on your life, and we want to share the good news of love beyond belief with more and more people. So no matter what, we need your support to keep this ministry growing and thriving, so please consider making a gift today. You can do so by texting
LOVEBB for Love Beyond Belief to 73256, or simply visit our website. You are a blessing in our lives. May you be blessed
and be a blessing.